I have been a member of the North American Skull-Base Society for many years and have found this society to provide the best forum for networking, exchanging ideas, and learning from each other. This journal provides an outstanding opportunity to showcase rare and interesting skull-base cases with the ability to show operative videos, describe surgical techniques, and cutting-edge innovations in our field.
I decided to become an editor of JNLSR because I honestly love case reports and other small data types of studies. And I think the notion of building a relatively impactful subspecialty journal with that mission is an exciting challenge and an important service to the field that I thought was very philosophically resonant for me. A lot of my research right now is in the modeling space, where I'm trying to adapt tools from other specialties or non-clinical niches to improve our ability to draw accurate and reliable inferences from observational data predominantly. I'm also obviously thinking a lot about the journal right now and about how we can leverage all kinds of tools like AI, machine learning, et cetera, to be innovative as a small but agile player in the academic publishing space.
I am working with my team to analyze our skull-base surgery patients to determine the optimal techniques for skull-base reconstruction and prevention of postoperative cerebrospinal fluid leaks. We have explored the use of newer synthetic dural materials, glues, and various grafts and flaps in addition to the standard nasoseptal flap. I would like to highlight the recent article by Youssef and Farrell, which discusses the literature on management of the N0 neck for esthesioneuroblastoma. There's no clear consensus regarding observation, elective neck dissection, or elective neck irradiation, and this article provides a nice summary of the literature.
I'd love to highlight all of our articles, of course, but one that I particularly enjoyed recently from the last issue was a neuroenteric cyst of the cavernous sinus by Dr. Bashkaya's team from Wisconsin, which also features one of my residents here at OU. Barak Ujaidan was one of the authors on that. It's a really nicely detailed example of a rare skull-based disease. There's excellent imaging and pathology, and most importantly, there's thoughtful clinical recommendations. So it kind of gives you a sense for how to identify and manage cystic lesions of the cavernous sinus. It's an uncommon entity, but it's important, and I think this is a good demonstration of why case reports are still so valuable in today's publishing space and the kind of service that JNLSR can provide in that regard. So this is a bit of a facetious answer, but rather than highlighting a specific article type, I want to call attention to the new JNLSR author information page, which talks a lot about the ways in which we are working to expand the academic scope of what we're publishing. So we're talking not just case reports, but what we've termed original reports, review reports, technical reports, operative video reports, playing up the idea that this is Journal of Neurological Surgery Reports, and we want to open people's minds in terms of how that can be interpreted, and get a lot of different other novel manuscript types, underneath the umbrella of what we're working on publishing here.
I would like to encourage submission of innovative surgical technique articles because this forum allows for video descriptions with details on the technique. I would also like to encourage submission of timely review articles, particularly on controversial topics where there is no clear consensus in the literature. Be creative. NIH funding is tight and very competitive, but there are other sources available, including from your own institution, from industry, including pharmaceutical and device companies, and rare disease foundations. And don't forget grateful patients, particularly those with rare diseases. They may be inspired to donate to your research.
I think the most successful pathways towards research funding tend to involve emphasizing novelty and impactfulness. And this is particularly the case where new tools or techniques are used to either tackle mechanistic questions or controversial aspects of clinical care. And it's certainly the case that more opportunities exist today for investigators to obtain funding for research outside of the traditional wet lab. But I think that those are the avenues where you need to really sort of leverage either a new technology, a new analytic strategy, something that's going to give a fresh lens on a question that is going to have a lot of salience to not just the grant reviewers, but also your peers and, most importantly, your patients. My feelings on open access publishing are quite complicated, but in the current moment for academic journals, I'll say that I do think it allows more of us to keep the lights on, and that in turn promotes wider publication of new ideas and scientific findings. There are some merits to the arguments against open access, but from my perspective, until a more viable long-term model evolves, I think that the definite benefits of having a broader literature and author base certainly outweigh the potential disadvantages.
I believe open access publishing will increase in popularity due to the ease of submission, review, and online publishing. The challenge will be for us to maintain the high standards of quality for these manuscripts. So I encourage authors to look at our guidelines and submit their best work in one of our categories. We look forward to receiving your submissions.